everyone. Welcome to another episode of No Title Needed, coming to you from the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, US of A. I am Cynthia Collins.
And I am Scott Osborne.
You better believe it. And we are your co-hosts. And today we have Mr. Pete Ward, COO of the Indianapolis Colts. Pete or Mr. Ward? We don't really know each other that well. So what do you prefer? Pete, please.
Yeah, I'm glad about that.
I'm ecstatic.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, my God, thanks for being here. We know you're on a bit of a tight schedule, of course. And thank God we're all wearing blue.
Uh-huh.
And
Got a Colts blue on. Yeah.
little different shades, but we're doing all right. Scott, this is out of the normal. Usually I just start rambling. But why don't you ask a question?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know, right? The pressure is on.
Well, first question. How long have you been with the Colts?
So this is season 45. I started in 1981 when the team was in Baltimore.
Wow. And so you switched over. Were you on the Mayflower?
Close. Close. I followed it. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So what made you, okay, so you're with the Baltimore Colts, 45 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 45 years. And where are you from originally?
I grew up mostly in California.
Okay.
And then moved out east late in high school and went to school out east. And that one thing led to another, and that's how
you
started in Baltimore.
started out
on the
in
East Coast,
Maryland.
right?
Yeah. And so were you with anyone else before the Colts?
No, I was in college. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And what did you study in school?
Wow.
So I went to Virginia, and they allowed me to create my own major. You know, I wanted to be work in football, NFL specifically, ever since I was 10 years old. And so I created this major, and I call it sports management. And it was some business and some journalism and some non-teaching phys ed.
So you studied the things specifically for the job you're in now, and some sort of
that was the goal.
Yeah.
Straight.
Sure, and it worked out. You know, I don't think it really helped me in my job, in my career, but it did show that I was very interested in getting into the bid. I think that helped me.
Did you play as a young man? Did you play?
As a very young man, yeah. So,
but
I stopped growing.
How?
Yeah.
Similar problem.
I mean, the love of football, how did this, I mean, you said since you were 10.
I was, as a typical little boy, I was in love with every sport. I'd watch every sport that was on, but football was always my favorite. And and the thing that hooked me on NFL football was when I was a kid. I'm talking about 1967. On Saturday afternoon, sometime there was a show called NFL Action, and it was produced by NFL Films, and it was, slow motion and the dramatic music and John Facenda narrating, and that just hooked me. It just hooked me, and my friends and I would play slow motion football in our living room.
You gotta love that.
It was brainwashing at its finest.
That's a great.
So obviously the love of football got you into your game, right?
No question.
Yep.
And it's kept me in. I'm here. I'm just a big fan.
Clearly. And when they said, all right, now the Colts, we're going to Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. And
do they usually, I mean, listen,
that news like
listen, but I'm not I don't know how the football teams work, the inner workings quite surely. And they're like, okay, everybody's going. We're all going together.
Well,
or do people fall by the wayside?
Well, we could talk for a couple of hours on what led up to that, but essentially, late afternoon, Jim Irsay called me into his office and said, "We're moving tonight, Indianapolis. We're moving. You need to go home, get your personal life in order. We'll be back at 10 o'clock because that's when the trucks are getting here. And you need to help put some order to this thing." And
it really was overnight, literally.
Oh yeah, it was. I wouldn't recommend that to any business who wants to relocate. Just plan it out a little bit,
Yeah.
So
it's worked out.
So it worked out well. But it was certainly an unstable situation for a while and very unsettling. But I was young and single and didn't have much of a life, and my whole life was my job.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier for me than for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here we go. The Indianapolis Colts.
Mhm.
Everything had to get situated. New team.
Sure.
You don't know. You're like overnight moving to a new
Yeah, that was like,
Indiana.
yeah. We didn't have anything.
From Baltimore.
We had was the Pacers was that was nothing.
That's
around here.
I guess so. I mean, how long did it take to actually? No, listen. Football is popular, obviously, and it's not like a sport that people are like, I'm not going to go. So
It was popular. It
How long
was
did
simply
it
a
take
basketball city. And if you were a football fan, you're most likely a Packers or Bears fan because that's what people here grew up watching before the Colts arrived.
And Bengals were after the Colts, right?
Bengals were in existence too, but they weren't around as long as the Bears and the Packers. And
Yeah.
so we had to win over a lot of people in different ways. And the first 10 years was tough because we were pretty unstable as a franchise. Mr. Irsay, Bob Irsay, was not keen on investing in the community or investing in winning for that matter. It was more about watching his finances. And Jim was able to observe how to not run a sports franchise. And we didn't really become a serious, stable NFL franchise until Jim Irsay took over.
okay, and so all these years here you are with this team, and how many how many quarterbacks have you been through? I mean, with the Colts.
Yeah, I'd have to count.
I mean, my God.
But wherefore we had one for 14 years, and then we had one for 8 years. So that's two over nearly 23 seasons. So
I go ahead because I have.
What was that draft like for Peyton Manning back in '98?
well, it's funny you should ask because it was quarterback wise, it was either going to be Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning, and we were Peyton all the way. But there were certainly people out there that thought that Ryan Leaf was tougher, edgier, more of a scrapper. We had people within our building that said, Ryan Leaf might actually be the guy. Bobby Beathard, who was perhaps the greatest player personnel evaluator in NFL history, traded up to number 2 so he could draft Ryan Leaf. So it's a tough deal. Drafting number 1 is a tough deal because there's been a lot of busts.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
But everything worked out.
We were Peyton all the way, and I remember our first during the preseason, San Diego with Ryan Leaf came to play us, and they kind of basically kicked our ass, and that just added to
A little bit of sight to this.
the fans. I had one fan call me and say, "Oh, we had him in our ball our hands, and we let him slip away." And by the end of the season, it was totally the narrative was totally reversed.
They have to have faith. You have to have faith.
I got another question.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering, but let me tell you before we have to take this break real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll get to that after the break. Go ahead and ask your question because I have something I'd like to know. Go ahead.
After 45 years, what has been the most drastic change that you've experienced?
Well, the business has changed. When we moved to Indianapolis, we had 8 coaches, and our staff totaled 34. That included everybody from coaches to
Let's make a full football team out of 34.
yeah.
Really, that's not a lot of people.
Yeah, that doesn't include players, but
I know, right?
And now we have about 250.
Right.
So that's been the most dramatic change. The business has changed. It's with digital media and corporate partnerships, the money that comes with the NFL and
all the endorsements the guys get. I mean,
broadcasting.
It's
it is
a bigger.
Yeah, it's just we have 25 coaches now. So the business has changed.
25?
We had 2 scouts back in 1984, and we've got close to 25 people in our player personnel department. So things have changed all around.
All right.
But that's mostly the most dramatic.
You got to take a break.
That was quick.
No, but we're just taking a break. We're coming back.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
No, I know.
Oh my gosh, we'll be back with Pete Ward, COO of the Indianapolis Colts. Hey everyone, welcome back to No Title Needed with our special guest, Mr. Pete Ward, COO of the Indianapolis Colts. He's been with them since the Baltimore Colts, 45 years. You've seen everything, Pete. You've seen everybody come and go, and here you are.
Here I am. Still running. Still ticking.
God. Do you think, and let me, I've been thinking about this since we were just chatting. When Peyton Manning got drafted, and then you're Tony Dungy, so the
Huge, yeah.
Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy years, I do know that much. I think it's like every team, it's like almost every team has the golden years or the golden era. Do you think that was that time?
Well, so far,
It must have been a very special time.
we won the Super Bowl. We went,
Yes.
10 years or 7 years in a row of winning 12 or more games. It was a special time. And I said it at the time because our fans were getting accustomed to this. And
Yeah.
this is Camelot. This is not going to last forever.
Yeah, know when you're in the golden years.
Yeah.
While you're in the golden years.
And then we were, super lucky they then have the number one pick again and draft Andrew Luck, and our division opponents are, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly that was a special time. Yeah, for any franchise, it would be a very special time.
Yeah.
Take the Bob Sanders and the Dallas Clarks,
Free
Jeff Saturdays. Yeah, Frank. Yeah.
Really special.
Harrison.
What a team.
Yeah, it's a really great, and there was some great kickers too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Vinatieri.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Vinatieri.
Yeah.
And Vanderjack before that, too.
Vanderjack, the V's, yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
That McAfee was with the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Go ahead. You have one more question. It's just one.
In your 45-year career with the Colts, what has been the moment you reflect upon most often?
Well, I reflect more than I should on heartbreaking defeats that we've had. I can't forget those. They're in losing to Pittsburgh in '95 in the AFC playoff game when we had 3 opportunities in the last 10 minutes to put that game away. Anyone who was there, still eats them alive. But honestly, it would have to be when we won the AFC Championship in front of our home crowd because of the heartbreaking defeats we had prior to that year. This was cathartic.
On the way,
Timestamp.
The Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just for me, but for our fans and our city. I've had at least 100 people come up to me and say, we knew it would be big. We didn't know it'd be
that comeback was incredible.
You had people, strangers hugging each other. We got stories from different neighborhoods about everybody came out of their homes and were dancing in the streets. It was really, it was like, there's nothing that bonds a community.
Gives me a little bit of chills.
Like sports does, when your team does well. And that's really why I would love for us to do that again. It's because of the effect it had on our community.
Do you think that game had so the next game was the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that had a bigger impact because it was a rival? It was
I think that if we hadn't won the Super Bowl, then the championship game wouldn't have been as iconic as it is now. Mm-hmm. So winning the Super Bowl was critical, and certainly that was the bigger win. You got to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
But in terms of emotion, I think that beating
Wasn't it 31 points on that game? Was that, am I remembering that right? 31-point deficit that we came back from at one point?
no, it was 21-3.
21.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was Hollywood at its finest.
Yeah.
The way we came back and won that game in the final seconds was just incredible. And I wish we had somebody just videoing our crowd, because I've never seen or heard a crowd that ecstatic in my life anywhere.
I mean, and listen, you have seen quite a bit, but you know, people leave, players leave, coaches leave, players come and go. I mean, the energy, you know, because this is a team and everybody has to, and new guys coming in. They got to learn how to play together. Again, you know, there's constantly new guys coming in. There's guys retiring, coaches, quarterbacks, which is extremely important, I know. How does that energy change within the franchise sometimes? You know what I'm saying?
It certainly takes getting used to, because when I first started, it was heartbreaking for me. You know, you form a relationship with a player that is really great guy, you know, and you just hate to see them go, you know. But then when you realize it's just part of the business, it's really one of the pluses of the business, because you meet so many different people, so many great people, and I'll say so many characters. That's what makes it so fascinating for me. All the interesting people that you meet through the years,
And you keep in touch. Yeah.
and to keep in touch. Yeah,
But are you
yeah,
keeping in touch?
absolutely. It's wonderful when we have guys back, you know, for reunions or whatever. Just the love that they have, because they've been through battle together. You know, it's just really kind of a unique aspect of sports. But time goes so fast. I remember a fellow by the name of Donnell Thompson. He was our number one pick when I started back in 1981. I remember watching him go out to the practice field at training camp for his first practice. And I was thinking, God, he still has room to fill out. You know, I wonder what kind of career that guy's going to have. You know, he's probably going to have a great career, but I hope he stays healthy. He had a 11-year career, and he's been retired, you know, 4 times over again. Well, it just goes so fast, you know, because you see these guys as kids out of college, and then now I know them as old guard veterans, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think those guys have a hard time retiring? Do you think some players have a hard time?
Certainly.
Stop it.
Yeah, certainly. But the thing that rings true with all of them is that the time they've had playing football with a team, the competing together, was the most special time of their life.
Yeah, it's got to be tough though when you make it to that pinnacle and you achieved so many goals, and then what's next?
Was that what's
next?
And every once in a while, you have somebody that leaves on bad terms or bitter about something, whatever.
Yeah.
But 20 years later, it's changed. You know, still, man, it's so fun, you know, and it's so great to be back, you know, and that sort of thing.
It's just a special situation.
Yeah, and how hard was it? I just thought this too when Peyton left, and well, you know,
It was probably the hardest.
he went to the, you know, when he was gonna maybe retire, but then went to the Broncos.
Yes.
That was a bit of a tough time for the team.
It was incredibly tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for people that weren't involved.
Because there was no guarantee he was ever going to be healthy again. You know, he'd been with us for 14 seasons, and we had the number one pick, and we were losing guys because we're in salary cap hell. So even if we had kept Peyton, we wouldn't have had the same dynamic on our team.
Okay.
And so it was the toughest decision I think the franchise has ever had to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was quite a leader, and seemed like a
question.
really decent human being. Nice guy. He's
fun.
not that.
I think
Yeah, that's funny.
he's the most iconic,
Yeah. You know,
personality in the history of the game.
right? And you have that leadership, like I said, him, Dungy. You know, a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're the coach and the quarterback. I mean, the head coach and quarterback.
Right.
It's like if that's not a good partnership, I think you're screwed. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything. You know, it's like anybody working together that closely, that tightly. You know, if the
Critical.
dynamic is not,
Certainly. Yeah.
you know, there, it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
You know.
Anything you can give us on the upcoming season?
Well, you know what? Every year is a new adventure.
Yeah.
It's like a treasure hunt. You know, you never know what's going to happen. because every year you see teams rise out of the blue that no one expected them to,
Right.
and teams drop that no one expected. And, you know, you have different dynamics every year. And a few guys develop on one team, you know, a few guys fall off or somebody gets hurt in a critical position. It just dictates, you know,
Well, the injuries are
everything. Yeah. So, so it'll be fun and interesting. And,
no predictions.
We'll see.
No
and,
predictions.
I can't make a
Ward.
prediction. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well,
I know that we have a lot of talented guys, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
well, good luck.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. Good luck with the season,
A lot.
and thank you for being here. And
My pleasure.
And you know, you seem like a nice guy.
I hope so.
And thank you for joining us once again for No Title Needed. Come on over to Feinstein, see a cabaret, have some great cocktails, a little nosh. They have something going here almost every night. It's a beautiful venue with some really wonderful performers. And so, once again, I'm Cynthia Collins.
And I'm Scott Osborne.
We're your co-hosts, always and forever. And thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.